I'm Mike Butler.
And I'm Mike Field.
And welcome to Forgotten Cinema from Console to Screen. We're embarking on a 5-part series to break down and discuss movies that are based on video games. Each episode, we'll talk about what we love about these movies, or perhaps don't love about it. But as we say on the main show, we always recommend you revisit it. We're not alone on this journey. We're also joined by friend and former colleague Russ Lyman of the Weekly Warp Pipe podcast. Damn it! Who will help us navigate each movie born from the video game world, as he likes to say, bit by bit. If you enjoy this series, we want to hear from you. Forgotten Cinema is on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. Drop us a comment, share what you like or don't like about these movies, or just say hello. Let's get into it.
Guys, the sun's out and Russ's guns are out. What's going on, Russ?
Let's go. Just got home from the gym. I wish I had a Tomb Raider shirt. I could have been rocking sleeveless, but
right. I know. What the heck, man? Come on. That's right. We're Russ kind of, I don't know if you actually, but yeah, you don't mention the movie we're doing. Russ has let you know we are doing Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. We are doing the Angelina Jolie film. If those who have listened to our regular show, the main show, like we do the facts and stuff, which we'll do that here. But with our facts, we try, which is why Russ is on, because he helps us out with this. Because I do play video games. I'm probably not as versed as you guys. So we try to keep our facts with what's in the game, what's not. So I'm hoping you guys can help me out with that, because I had some questions in terms of is that in the game? Why is that? Why are they doing this? What's that gun thing she's doing? Is that part of the game? So so we'll get into that, but let me get into those facts, and then we'll start talking about the movie. So Lara Croft Tomb Raider has a runtime of 100 minutes. It's rated PG-13. Production budget of $115 million, which is I know, right? I know. It came out on Friday, June 15th, 2001. So a big time summer movie. Opening week. I honestly can't believe it's 2001 that it came out. That's, what's that? 25 years ago next year. Yeah, 25 next year. Opening weekend, it did $47.7 million. Its domestic take was $131 million. Its international take was $144 million, for a worldwide total of $275 million. So a big enough hit to get a second film, which thankfully we are not doing for this series of movies. Its production companies were far and wide. Paramount Pictures, Mutual Film Company, Lawrence Gordon Productions. How do you say this name? Eidos Interactive, EIDOS. How would they pronounce that? Is it Eidos?
I think it's Eidos.
Is it Eidos? Okay.
Yeah.
Eidos Interactive, Telemunchen Group, BBC Films, Marubeni, and Toho Tawa. So a lot of production companies here. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures in the United States and the United Kingdom. And then it was obviously, Toho Tawa is Japan. Concord Filmverleih is Germany. I probably said that wrong, so we don't need to worry about that. Anyways, said it came out on the 15th domestic. Let's go back to the 8th of June. We had a wide release of Swordfish and Evolution. You guys see those two movies at all?
Yeah.
I've seen both. Yeah.
I really like.
You see Swordfish?
I like Evolution. You don't though, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, pretty sure I saw Swordfish. I remember the poster.
Yeah, that was Hugh Jackman's film when he came, the next film after X-Men, I believe. The X-Men, he was here, and then all of a sudden he was on. That was a different film. Oh my God, that's the guy from that's Wolverine.
Right.
You also had a limited release that week of The Anniversary Party. And then what went up against Tomb Raider on the 15th was the animated film Atlantis, The Lost Empire, a forgotten Disney classic, and a limited release of Sexy Beast. And then the week after, the 22nd of June, you had a wide release of Dr. Dolittle and The Fast and the Furious. That is the first one, correct? Yes.
Correct.
Wow.
Well, technically, it's a remake of the 1950s, but it is actually. There's one from I think it's the 50s or the 40s.
Wait, I'm talking about The Fast and the Furious. I know Doolittle's a remake.
No, I'm talking about Fast and Furious.
No, it was not. Is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Nice. Something I didn't know. Good job, Butler. Good job.
Thank you.
This film was directed by Simon West, who's done Con Air, The Expendables 2, and the 2011 movie The Mechanic. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 writers on this film. There are 3 with story credits: Sarah B. Cooper, Mike Werb, and Michael Collery. There's an adaptation credit for Simon West. And then there's there's a screenplay credit for Patrick Massett and John Zinman. So Sarah Cooper's the first story credit. So she's her sole credit. She's done TV episodes for The X-Files, Homicide: Life on the Street, House. Then Werb and Collery must have wrote another script. And so they got a story credit. Werb has done The Mask and Firehouse Dog, and Collery has done Face Off and the TV show The Professionals. Massett and Zinman wrote the screenplay. Massett has done the TV show Friday Night Lights and The Blacklist. And then Zinman has done Caprica and Last Resort. Butler, did you watch Caprica?
I think I did. What was Caprica?
That is the spinoff of the Battlestar Galactica reboot that came out.
I watched it a little bit, but I think I dropped off. I don't think I finished it.
It didn't last long. I'm assuming Russell didn't watch any of that. I had no idea. Battlestar Galactica, nope, nothing. You had a cinematographer credit for Peter Menzies Jr., who has done Die Hard with a Vengeance, A Time to Kill, and Shooter. Composer was Graham Revell, who's done Daredevil, the Ben Affleck Daredevil, and The Crow. And this has also 4 editors: Dallas Pewitt, Glenn Scantlebury, Eric Strand, and Mark Warner. This has a lot of people working on this movie. Pewitt's done Deep Blue Sea, Star Trek Nemesis, Butler's favorite. Scantlebury has done Megalopolis, the 1992 Dracula, and Con Air. Eric Strand has done Donnie Darko, another Butler favorite, and Lethal Weapon 4. And Mark Warner was nominated for an Oscar for Driving Miss Daisy. He's also done The Running Man and Big Trouble in Little China. So we got an Academy Award nominee editing this film. And then produced by Lawrence Gordon, Lloyd Levin, and Colin Wilson, who have done a bevy of films. Not a big cast, which I was surprised. I figured big action film, big summer action film, you'd have a lot of people in this film, but not really. Obviously, Angelina Jolie is Lara Croft. She won an Oscar for Butler. What movie?
The one where kids disappear, right?
No, she was nominated for The Changeling.
Oh, Changeling.
This movie she's in with Winona Ryder's in this film.
Not Disturbing Behavior.
No, that's
Girl Interrupted.
Yes, Girl Interrupted.
Yeah,
she's also Mr. and Mrs. Smith. John Voight as her father, Lord Richard Croft. Is the father in the game?
They talk about him. I don't know if he actually appears in the old school games.
He's not like a character.
He appears in the remakes, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. He won an Oscar for Coming Home. He's in Midnight Cowboy and Running Away Train and Ali, which he was nominated for. Oscars. Noah Taylor as Bryce. This is not a character from the game, correct? None of these characters are from the game except Lara Croft, and then I guess her butler.
The butler's definitely in the game. Yeah.
So Noah Taylor, who plays her in this movie, Bryce is her, I guess, tech guy. Mm-hmm. He's who lives in a trailer out on a front lawn. From Almost Famous, Edge of Tomorrow, and Shine. Ian Glenn as Manfred Powell. He's our bad guy. Game of Thrones TV show. For those who don't know, he's also in the TV show Silo, and he's in 3 Resident Evil movies as well. I guess he plays the same character, right? Do you remember him?
Oh, is he Wesker?
That's what I was like.
Dr.
I think
Isaacs. He's Dr. Isaacs.
Oh, okay.
If you remember those. Daniel Craig as Alex West, who is the kind of counter archaeologist adventurer to her, I guess, or treasure hunter or whatever, right?
Profit treasure hunter.
Yeah. Obviously, he's James Bond in the last 5 James Bond films, The Knives Out. And then Julian Rind Tutt as Mr. Pims. That is not our butler. Butler's Hillary, right? Chris Berry is Hillary. Hillary's the butler, I think, in this. That's what he's called. That's his name.
I believe you're correct.
He's in the TV show Red Dwarf. Ryan Dutt is in Stardust and Notting Hill. He plays Mr. Pims. I can't remember who Mr. Pims was. It's been a while since I've seen this film. All right. So let me see if there's any more facts. I do not have any more facts that relate to what we need to talk about. So, guys, real quick, I know you both have seen this when it came out. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious. I'm curious. I probably asked this in the last movie. What's your relationship to this film? Do you go back to it? Do you show other people? Have you seen it since the first time? We'll go with our guest butler. We'll go with Mr. Lyman here. Did you see it in the movie theaters coming out? I think you were probably working at the theater at this time, right, Russ?
Yeah, 2001. Yeah, I might have been at the cinema then. But yeah, I definitely saw it in theaters.
Okay. Were you excited to see this film? Was it a big anticipatory thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of the games back in the day, so I was like, oh, another video game movie, like this looks awesome. And Angelina Jolie was, in some other great movies that I had seen, so I was like, all right, it's got a great lead. I think she fits the role. So I was excited to see it.
I do remember that. Yeah, she was like perfect casting, right? Right, Butler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She looked the part. She had the quote unquote dimensions. She got like everyone was talking about how she got like in super shape for the role and stuff like that. Like a big deal that she was playing Lara Croft. Yeah.
So you were highly anticipating this film coming out as well?
Not as much. I was kind of excited, but I wasn't a huge Tomb Raider guy. Like I wasn't a huge fan of the games. Not until like now with the reboots. I love the reboot series that they did. Those 3 games are phenomenal. These first couple, I remember I played the demo disc a lot, and I took a while till I got my first Tomb Raider game. If anybody remembers demo discs, that's really aging myself. I remember playing a lot of levels on demo discs, and then I finally got the game years and years later. But I was pretty excited because it was like a big video game movie, and it was kind of like Indiana Jones, or at least I thought. But I was also like 14 when this came out, so I was like,
so you were not a fan of the gameplay of the Tomb Raider games?
I thought it was like on PS1, she moved really weird,
right?
And I wasn't a huge fan of her movement in the game. Like it wasn't that smooth. In a time when there were games like Crash Bandicoot that were 3D games on PlayStation but moved really well.
Even
I thought
Metal Gear Solid
blocky.
Moved a lot better, and that was a big. But yeah, I agree with that. Where it's very like tank controls, you would say, or like I would miss so many jumps trying to line up stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah, you just
what is happening?
So I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Tomb Raider as I am like maybe some of the other video game series that we'll be talking about on the show.
So when you guys watched the film, what did you the first time? Did you like it, and did that opinion change from now to then? Whoever wants it, go ahead.
I probably liked it about the same. I had just recently watched it to get up to par with the episode because I knew we'd be talking about it, and I was like, kind of bringing me back with like the music that was in there and the action and everything, and I was like, it's pretty much what I would expect for a Tomb Raider movie. It has a good basis of like you said, she's basically female Indiana Jones, and that translates perfectly to movies since they're already Indiana Jones movies. You're just putting a girl in there and maybe a little bit different action, but
the movies are definitely, the music is definitely like 2000s, early 2000s. Definitely that. Yeah. Butler, what was your reaction? What compare your watches?
In 2001, I remember being like, it's all right. I think my family, we rented it one night, and I was like, it's okay. And then I watched it now, and I think this is part of this is worse than Mortal Kombat. At least Mortal Kombat is like cheesy fun, and it's so corny.
Annihilation or
Annihilation,
the first one?
Like,
okay.
Like it's cheesy, it's corny. I'm watching it because of how bad it is. This movie, everything was so boring. It's just so overdone Hollywood. Like it's not that Indiana Jones, the what she's after and how she gets it. They don't explain anything. It makes no sense. Any of the devices, the stupid clock at the beginning, the robot that she fights at the very beginning. It's just so over the top. It's just nonsensical. And the way everything gets solved at the end, I was so bored of this movie. This movie is everything that Hollywood turns out now. That's like, this would be a hit on Netflix if this came out tomorrow. But this is like everything a test screening audience, like a bunch of companies get together and like, let's make the most corporate Hollywood movie we can make, and let's make it. Like, the only thing I could say is like, when I was a kid, I did not find Angelina Jolie that attractive, but as an older adult now, like she's very pretty. Like, I guess the movie has that going for it. There's a couple of things I remember giggling at, like that were kind of funny, but for the most part, the thing I like the best about this movie is Ian Glenn. I still think he'd make a great James Bond, like an older James Bond. And I would really love Amazon to do a short with him as James Bond. But other than that, I got nothing out of this film.
Yikes. So Butler's gone negative, Russ. Was there stuff in the movie, Russell, that you didn't like particularly well, or you weren't a big fan of?
Things I disliked on. I mean, I don't think I could really pinpoint something on it. think of
No
it more
worries.
as like a popcorn flick. I just kind of sit back and I'm just like, yeah,
Sure.
that's how we get there with the plot. Sure, whatever. I mean, it's based on a video game movie, so maybe video game logic, right?
So so that robot was actually a working physical robot. It was 8 feet tall. It was 500 pounds.
When you spend $150 million on a movie, of course it's going to be a real robot.
But do you think that robot's in there to showcase her moves from the game? Is that why they have that, or do you just think it? I think it, like Simon West is just like, I want to have a big robot in the beginning. I wanted to train.
We got to start with an action sequence. We don't know.
I mean, I feel like you come out the gate running, right? It's this intense fight. And you think she's in some tomb, but she's really in a training room, right?
Right.
And I feel like, it's a lot of like, all right, let's show off her physical abilities and what she could do, and like the cool like effects, and it's got like saws, and it's like, oh my god.
And it doubles as a boombox.
That is,
it does. I mean, she must be richer than anything in the world, because she just trashes her place before they gets trashed when the people come in and try to get her. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys was the outfit she wears in the beginning is obviously not the famous outfit that starts off the series, that blue top and the shorts. But she is wearing shorts and a short shirt, but it's all black. So is that something that's in the later Tomb Raider games at all?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 and onward, she kind of ditched the polygon blue and brown, and she switched to polygon black and gray.
Do you think they did that because the movie had that? Because the game, how many games were out before the film came out? 1 or 2?
4 or 5.
Really? So there were already 5 versions of Tomb Raider before the first film.
Before the first film.
Yeah.
In 2001, they probably got to Tomb Raider 3.
I would say probably at least all 3 on PlayStation, the original. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something, Mike, Russ, that I always ask Mike, because I always know this is a bugaboo with him. He doesn't like bad accents. He doesn't like people that are trying accents. Angelina Jolie is obviously not English, not British. Mike, what did you think of her British accent? Did you like it?
I actually think, and I think she's done the accent before. I think Angelina Jolie does do a fairly good British accent.
Okay. So you're good with it. You're good with the accent.
I'm good with it. No notes on her accent. It's not bad. Daniel Craig and his American accent. That's another thing.
I was like, what? When he first came out, I was kind of put off on that, and I was like, wait a minute.
Not to go completely negative. I told Mike this, I think weeks ago before we were talking about this episode, and I watched the film. The one thing I did appreciate about this movie is that they use practical sets.
Yes, that's going to say very good locations. Like the mansion looks awesome.
Yeah, the mansion in Cambodia, and she's on that giant, whatever, that swinging pillar.
Yeah.
That that's real. Even at the end when they're in, where are they? What were they in ice? Some Siberia? Where are the Arctic? Wherever they are, when they're in that cave,
near the Arctic Circle,
and that all the
orbs
planets are going,
all
that stuff. I thought that was so I do appreciate the practical effects of the sets and the set work, because that makes it. I know it looks, oh my god, that looks like a set, but it also feels real when you're watching it. So it's like it kind of works both ways for me. You guys both like that, right? Obviously, you said that you already did.
Yeah, the sets were good.
Yeah. All right, give me something that I haven't talked about. Give me something that you that's been bugging you for a while that I didn't bring up. Like, give me something that's in this movie that's from the game that I wouldn't know. Whether it's a scene, whether it's a bad guy, whether it's an artifact or a move she does, whatever it is, whatever equipment, like what's from the game that I really wouldn't even think
definitely
about.
Her iconic guns that she has for sure.
Right.
Yeah. The double
so you want to see that.
Taking them out.
I wish they did something with, it was a big thing in the first game where you can trap the butler in the freezer. And I wish they kind of did a nod or something to that, just to be like, hey, we know just because he follows you around while you're in the mansion and you can train and practice your jumps and stuff. And if you go into the freezer, he'll follow you and you can run out and then close the door on him. And then he's just trapped in there.
And he stays in there?
Yeah, that's it. Like, so I was like, I wish they did a little nod to that. That would have been funny. I don't know why they added the tech guy in there, because he wasn't in the game, like making tech and stuff. But
they probably felt like Mike said, they needed like a Q type character to kind of somebody that gives her all her gadgets, like that. The backpack that comes out with the clips, that's not in the game, right?
That is in the game. The reloader backpack is in the game. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is it that way, that style? It shoots out and she sits there and she snaps the guns back into it, the clips into the gun.
I don't remember. Probably not, because it's like PlayStation, original PlayStation. So the graphics are probably like she hit the backpack and she got reloaded.
The bungee scene, the scene when she's in the middle of the foyer or wherever it is, the main room, and then she starts attacking all these guys by doing with the bungee moves. And what did you guys think of that? That's her doing it. That's Angelina Jolie doing all those stunts.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting scene for sure. You're like, okay, she's just relaxing. You're like, what's going on? And then you see the crew coming up. So you're like, all right, this is going to be interesting how she takes them out with that. So it's cool way to like make a fight scene, I guess, more interesting, having the bungee aspect to it and make her seem more graceful and like.
Well, do you think that that's also a nod to like some of the crazy jumps you can do in the game? So it's like,
that's
sure,
true.
you can't double jump in real life, but when she's on the bungee cord, now she can do some bungee.
Or like run on the walls jump. Or whatever. Yeah.
So it's like, that's kind of interesting.
Some of the notes, one of the notes I has that there's a bunch of action moves in the movie that are from the game, like the way she draws her weapons, mid somersault, swallow diving into the water, forward rolls to reverse direction, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So they do have stuff in there for that. I guess there was one part when when they're in the snow area, wherever this is, and she finds the pack of huskies and she's like, aha, she says that, like that's supposed to be a nod to the game. And she does that in the game. She says that actually, aha. You don't know.
I mean, sure. I think it was probably minimal voice stuff in there, right? With what she could say. So I could see that.
She said a few things. She definitely had a voice actress, but she talked more as the games went on.
Right.
Yeah. So I remember her talking to herself, and it's kind of like, all right, I get it. But she'd always be like, if only I could figure out a way out of here. And like lines like that, you're trying to figure out. It's like, you're not helping.
It's getting frustrated.
But Russ, you were talking about the butler. I guess in the game you can shoot at the butler. Is that true? And he has the silver tray he puts over his face, because you can shoot at him. Did you ever, when you were playing the game, shoot at the butler?
No, I never tried. Yeah, I was just making the jumps and swings and all that. I never thought to let me end the butler. I'll just lock him in the fridge. This is before GTA, I guess, came out, right?
I should have waited till I read this note, Butler. I guess the figure that Laura fights, the Shiva-like figure that she fights.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's supposed to be a direct nod to Tomb Raider 3.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you guys?
I guess I didn't really play 3, so
okay. So
I mean, it feels like they did some pretty good fan service with the movie. If you played the games, and then if someone had never seen or played the games rather, and they go into this blind, I feel like you can still enjoy it. Where you're like, okay, it's maybe you got to put some disbelief on some stuff, and you don't get a lot of backstory on other things, but you're like, action sequences and a hot actress, why not?
So I mentioned that there were a ton of people that wrote the script, and I didn't even get to. There was even more people that were involved in the script. So Stephen E. D'Souza wrote the first 3 drafts of this movie before the other writers even worked on the script. And then Simon West came in and just tossed it and then wrote it himself. So that's why West has an adaptation credit. The director's cut of this movie was 130 minutes. So it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. And obviously they cut that down. The guy who wrote Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Brent Friedman, in 1998 wrote an unproduced Tomb Raider script that they never used. So this movie has gone through, obviously they've been wanting to make this movie for a while, and has gone through multiple different writers, and yet it still made money. So usually when in our experience, Russ, when Mike and I do a movie and it's got a lot of writers and there's a lot of script stuff going on, it's usually a precursor for not a good film, and it doesn't do business. But this movie did business, I think, probably obviously on the back of everybody's love for the game. But I bring it up because there was one example in the movie where, and there's a little other examples in terms of dialogue where I was just like, what are we doing here? And one of them is, I can't remember which character, but he's like, I need coffee. He needs coffee, he says, because he's tired. And then he orders a decaf. And I'm like, are we not paying attention to the script? Like, you need coffee and you're ordering a decaf because you're tired? Like, so there was stuff like that. Like, there was little things like that. I was watching and I was like, what are we doing here? This line doesn't make sense. I don't understand why we're doing this. But yeah, so I'm surprised at this film. I'm surprised that I'm not surprised that this movie did so much money just with all the, the extra hands, the extra chefs in the kitchen, the extra hands on the script. Right. Because it's usually, like I said, a precursor for nothing good at all.
I mean, I feel like probably having the bigger actor names tied to it, coming off some of the other projects, help draw in the people that normally wouldn't see it. And then the people who played the game obviously also came out to see it.
Yeah. And I'm not the only one that has that frustration too, because Butler, I have a quote from your boy Daniel Craig here. He says, I didn't enjoy making Tomb Raider at all. I hated it. I did it to get a profile and it didn't turn out like that. You're working on scenes which make no sense whatsoever. I can't do that superhero stuff, which is probably why I haven't seen Daniel Craig in any Marvel films.
This is the man who is now James Bond.
That's not a superhero. That's a real man.
I got you.
Well, I feel like his character being James Bond isn't too far off from what the heck he was playing in this.
Yeah, but the story itself was garbage. So
right,
it's like,
yeah.
I think he played that character pretty well. I kind of thought he was interesting because he's like kind of a douche. He's just there for the money, which, I mean, it's kind of hypocritical of Laura. You're just collecting these artifacts to sell them. Well, yeah, we're not all trillionaires like you with 500-pound robots. Guys got to make a living.
Right,
I thought he played it pretty well. He wasn't too wussy, but at the same time, he was kind of the damsel in distress for her. Like he did a decent job. But
I don't think his character's a very good archaeologist, though.
Well, no, none of the characters are very good at their jobs, other than Lara Croft, of course, who herself is being helped by her dead dad. Like all the hints are being given to her. Who,
correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't have a British accent. Right? He's got an American accent, correct?
No, he does a British accent. It's just not very good. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just kind of really lazy. It's like he was like, my daughter's in this. All right, I'm trying to reconnect with her.
This is the film that kind of brings them back together because they're obviously the actors were estranged, but I think they're estranged now again.
Yeah, they're estranged again. There was just an interview with like John Voight. He's like, I haven't seen her in 90 years.
Jesus. All right.
I have no daughter.
So I mentioned that I like the practical effects of the set, but obviously there is CGI work in this film. What did you guys think of the CGI work?
I mean, it's of the time, I guess. It wasn't great, but it made the point. I don't know.
Well, what stood out bad for you? What was like the tipping point, or what? Kind of you turn your head going, why?
Any of the like liquid stuff that they did, like was very too computerish. I don't know. It didn't look realistic at all.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the scene of when they're on the temple running up the pyramid, like that whole
right.
Straight up.
When she's in the netherworld or wwherever it is, or
right.
Yeah.
He loses real easy too. He's just like, crap.
Trying to think any other scene stood out with that.
The liquid for me too, Russ, was just like, oh, if you can't do it, why?
Right.
Why bother?
I mean, they spent all the money on the practical sets and all that, which make it look real good. Yeah, the 500-pound robot.
What about the stone monkeys? What about the in Cambodia when they started coming out? And then obviously the Shiva character. Right. Yeah, you were okay with that?
Those were of the time, but they weren't terrible.
Right, yeah. I thought that was fine. But this stuff, it just stood out where it's like that. You're like, that's CGI. I can tell. Like that one guy did that effect in his house.
The slow bullet, too. The slow bullet was really bad. It's like Matrix has already come out. Bullets can look good. They don't have to look like video game bullets.
The knife wasn't bad. Maybe that was in CG where when she came back and the knife is stopped and she's like turning it midair.
Right.
I mean, I guess that could have been a practical knife she's just holding on to.
Yeah, it was so hard for her to they made it like a point.
I'm like, just put
effort.
When was the last time you guys fought against time?
put two hands on the not blade part and turn it. Christ.
I didn't get why we kept shooting a close-up of the planets. I mean, I get it. The eclipse is part of it, but like, why are we doing a close-up like we're there? When the
planets are aligned. But it's time.
I don't need a close-up of Jupiter or whatever of Saturn. No one's out there. Like, what does this mean to me?
Guys, this is an easy effect. I have the planets already in my database.
I mean, those look good. Those look better than the water effects.
All right, so let me give you some reviews, as I like to do.
Okay, let's see what the critics said
back then. These are reviews. Well, 2 reviews are back then, and I got one from more recent. So Tom McCarthy from Variety called the film has the distinction of being a major motion picture that's far less imaginative and quite a bit more stupid than the interactive game it's based on. So I guess he's not a fan of the game and not a fan of the movie. Calling it stupid. Butler's favorite guy, Roger Ebert, said, Lara Croft Tomb Raider elevates goofiness to an art form. Here is a movie so monumentally silly, yet so wondrous to look at that only a churl could find fault. Tossing the old churl world out there.
Come on. This, of all the movies that he's found stupid, this is the one he found stupid enough to be good?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's Roger Ebert, baby. All right. In 2018, IGN reported that the film was, quote, generally regarded as one of the better video game adaptations. And then in 2021, British GQ listed this film as one of the only video game adaptations worth watching. And in 2023, The Vulture also said that this film was one of the select few times a big budget video game movie has actually worked. I'm surprised that they all said this. This is after the recent adaptation, the newer one with Alicia Vikander, which was 2018, 2017. It was pre-pandemic,
something like that.
Yeah. Did you guys see that one? Did you like that one? Do you agree that this one is better than the newer one?
I didn't see it or play that newer game. Yeah.
The newer one is based on the newer game a little bit. The newer one is okay. It's a little bit more gritty, but it also suffers from the fact that it feels like it was made on like no budget, like they didn't have any faith in it.
Mm-hmm.
So as the movie goes on and things get more Tomb Raider-y, it gets crappier and crappier as it goes. So I guess this Tomb Raider feels more big budget, and the other one doesn't feel like they gave it a chance. But I think I would go with the Alicia Vikander one a little bit more than this one.
That is like a prequel, essentially. Like it's before she's well established as Lara Croft, right? It's her up and coming tale.
She's not tough yet. She kills her first man in this one, and she has to learn how to survive and all that kind of stuff.
Do you think that this film, the Angelina Jolie one that we've been talking about, is dated? Like when you look back on it now, does it feel like, oh man, that movie feels so old? Like it's not timeless. It's not a movie that you watch like Jurassic Park or Raiders. I mean, it's unfair. I'm quoting like really classics, but some movies you can keep watching over and over and over again. Like people love Jurassic Park now. That movie's 30 years old. So is this film dated for you guys? Do you think this film just kind of shows like, oh yeah, that's definitely a 2001 film?
I mean, like I said, with the music and the special effects, I could feel like watching it. Yes, you're like, this is 2001. I feel like I wouldn't continuously go back to this one. I didn't mind watching it again. And, like I said, I played the video games a little bit, and I feel it's a better adaptation of a video game into a movie. You got a solid base to go off of rather than something we'll get into further down, but like Super Mario Brothers, how do you make a story out of that into a game? Whereas Tomb Raider, you're like, oh, there's plenty to go on. She's an archaeologist and real life, like scenarios happen, so you can base that
Russ,
on it.
I thought Uncharted movie would be a no-brainer as well because they're pretty much a movie when you play each game, but they screwed that up.
True.
So they screwed
I
that.
didn't even finish. I didn't
up.
finish that one. I remember starting it and then just being like,
no.
And I feel like the casting failed on that.
Yes. Yeah. You screwed up something that's teed up for you. I mean, come on now. I agree. Butler, I have another writing, another screenplay credit for you that I forgot, and we can now we know that you've always hated this person for you've always hated this person for directing Star Trek Nemesis because you always said he's not a Star Trek fan, but Stuart Baird did an uncredited re-editing on this movie. So it's not a writing movie. It did uncredited re-editing on this film and Mission Impossible 2 for Paramount so he could direct Star Trek Nemesis. That's the note I have. So you can blame this film and Mission Impossible 2 for your terrible Star Trek film.
Why direct the last Next Generation film if you don't like Star Trek? Why? Go, I want to direct it because Star Trek sucks. So you're gonna give them all a good send off, right? Nope. I'm gonna treat it like the bag of dog shit it is. God.
All right. Would you guys have liked this film if Denise Richards, Charlize Theron, Uma Thurman, or Liv Tyler were in this role? Because they all turned it down.
Oh, no kidding.
Supposedly.
I saw the note that Charisma Carpenter auditioned. I thought that would be pretty fun.
Auditioned is different than you got offered the part.
Being offered. She's just not a big enough star to be offered it.
Yeah.
But was her audition better than anyone else's?
That's probably her agent going, Charisma, you should go do this. You just do the audition. It's a good learning experience. Just go. You got a hit show. You're on Buffy. You're on Angel. Just go.
Show your face.
I think it's a good thing none of the other ones did that. I think Angelina Jolie's got this kind of Hollywood clout that she's kind of like untouchable.
Well, I think this film made her
a lot of like a blockbuster person, but she had already had like critical hits before this.
Right.
So she was kind of protected. Like Uma Thurman doing this movie, I don't see her getting Kill Bill. And then that changes a lot of stuff.
Well,
Uma Thurman was also in Batman and Robin, so I guess she is untouchable.
Yeah,
if you can survive Batman and Robin.
Well, she's not the bad part of Batman and Robin. She's not the part that everyone complains about.
She ain't great, but yeah.
They complain about Mr. Freeze, Dr. Freeze going around, or Mr. Freeze is
awesome with his one line.
Bomb, and that stuff. So yeah,
nice to meet you.
and then the the nipples from the bat suit and the cod pieces. That's what everyone's complaining about.
And the bat credit card. Never leave home with that.
Oh my god!
As he buys a prostitute.
It didn't affect George Clooney's career, so you can't knock it. I guess
that is true. I guess yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like Angelina Jolie like fit the role so perfectly. Like if you were going to get someone, you're like, yes, like definitely her. And like you said, I guess she did a bunch of training and everything and get prepared for it. Mm-hmm. And again, I haven't seen the sequel in quite some time, but the movie got a sequel. So
yes. Well, that made money. So Angelina Jolie has a quote in 2001 that this job, how it was the hardest job she'd ever done. She said she's not moody. She talks about Lara Croft's character. She's not moody, brooding, or wrapped up in herself like a lot of other characters that I've tackled before. Lara is very clear about herself and her goals and overly capable in an almost beyond human way. I certainly don't feel like that when I wake up every morning, so I often had to snap myself into Lara mode in order to take on the world like she does every single day. So she's playing the character as somebody who is opposite of how she is, which is obviously a tough thing to do. I mean, it's a tough thing to do for me in my everyday life when I'm trying to pretend I'm happy about things. But but you know what I mean. Like
go to a therapist. It's not
I'm not
that
an actor. I'm not an actor. Yeah. So that it was tough for her, but I agree with you, Russ. She did a good job. She's once it's kind of like once she has the part, you can't really see anybody else in that role.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. Kind of like we talk about Mike countless times on the show when I always ask the question of you, could somebody else play this? Like that kind of thing. Yeah. All right. And I could still go through a bunch of notes, but I don't want to ramble. Did you guys have any final thoughts on this film, or are you glad you went back to it, or are you never going to go back to it again?
I'll probably never go back to this movie.
There's 5 games, Mike. Is that true? There's 5 games out now.
Oh, there's
more than 5.
There might be. I thought there were 4 from the main series.
I know there's a bunch on PS2.
Okay.
Yeah, and they created like little ones, like side-scrolling, not sides, like top-down ones that aren't part of like the main mythos. And now there are 4 from the reboot. So overall, there's probably like 12 at least Tomb Raider games in general.
Are there any new Tomb Raider games on the horizon?
Yes, but they haven't shown anything about them.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be a cross between the reboot Lara and like old school Lara. Like now they've got to the point where she's basically who she was in the first game. So they're going to make it a little bit more old school as well. As
I say they did just do a re-release that you can get on Nintendo Switch. I assume PlayStation 4, 5, and Xbox, but I believe it's the first 3 Tomb Raider games on original PlayStation. Now they're updated graphics, and I think you can switch back and forth and switch to tank controls or better controls. So I'm interested in checking that out because, again, playing the earlier ones, I messed up so many jumps and just got eaten by the lions and everything that's chasing me. I like to try to go back and give it a go.
Russ, do you have your Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order in already?
I think I'm waiting on it. It's I don't need it right now.
Wow.
Basically $600 to play Mario Kart, right? You got to buy the system and the game, and like, good God.
And Donkey Kong 30 days later.
That's true.
Those are the only 2 games coming out
that are like new, that aren't just on other systems or
right.
Switch 2 versions of Switch games.
Why is it's more? What's it got more memory? Is that what's the big deal with it?
Better graphics, more memory. It's just souped up. The Switch is like basically a PlayStation 3 at a time right before Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 came out. So the Switch kind of blows if you're trying to play it like a console.
Right. Like a PSP.
Oh, better than a PSP, but just basically something that was 2 consoles.
Yeah, and I got a Switch.
Behind.
Yeah. The kids
if you got a
here.
PS5, you're basically playing a PS3 when you're picking up the Switch. So now they're trying to be, it's still underpowered, but it's closer to what PS5 and Xbox are.
All right. Sweet. All right. So that's it. That's Tomb Raider. That's Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. I believe our next episode is actually Super Mario Brothers, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Only it's not. For the first time in forgotten cinema history, all recordings of that episode were lost. Thoughts and prayers to the hours Field lost, watching and discussing a film that he hated so much. But if you want to know, Butler and Russ actually like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Anyway, next week is now Street Fighter the movie. So you can.
Obviously, we'll all be back for that. I know that Mike's a fan of that, so he was pumping it up to me. I haven't seen it, to be honest. I have not seen that film in quite some time, so it'll be interesting.
Nice.
But that'll be next. All right, guys. Hey, Russ. Before we go, why don't you give us some plugs? Tell everyone where they can find you and what you're doing and when you're not working out with your muscle shirt and all that stuff.
The band I have on here is called Bit Brigade. They're actually playing in Bridgeport in a few weeks. If you guys want to check them out, they actually play video game music while someone plays that game live. It's phenomenal. It's awesome. So I've seen them before. So
that's
check out
cool.
Bit Brigade if you haven't already.
I got plugs for you, Russ.
They're not paying us.
If you want to check me out, I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that. Russ Lyman is my tag. Or you can check out my podcast. We come out weekly. It's called The Weekly Warp Pipe. We're on YouTube, Spotify, all that jazz as well. Talk about video games, nostalgia, toys, all that fun stuff. New episodes every Saturday at 9 a.m. And all that good stuff. Yeah.
Are you live at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, or that's just when you come out?
Yeah, we just schedule the episodes at 9 a.m.
I was gonna say,
like
9
Saturday morning
live show. Oh, Saturday morning cartoons. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, that's all right. I got that. All right. Awesome. Thanks, man. Thank you, everybody, for checking this out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema from Console to Screen.